Hi guys, welcome to on Benny's video. So basically we will show you guys a 3-minute short video about Breaking Bad to give you a general idea of what Breaking Bad talks about. Then we will give different opinions or responses to the TV show Breaking Bad. Also, we will talk about what American values does it demonstrate in the video. So let's get started.
This is Breaking Bad in 3 minutes. Let's begin. Walter White, a mild-mannered high school chemistry teacher, is diagnosed with cancer. He informs his wife Skyler, his son Walter Jr., and his brother-in-law, DEA agent Hank. Walt joins Hank on a drug bust and discovers Jesse Pinkman, a former student of his, is running his own meth lab. Walt finds Jesse and offers to cook crystal meth if Jesse can distribute it. The duo creates and sells their first batch, barely escaping both the long arm of the law and the guns of the gangsters they sell to. Their meth hits the streets and becomes an overnight sensation. It is 99.1% chemically pure and is nicknamed Blue Sky. In order to conceal his identity and protect his family, Walt creates the alias of Heisenberg. Walt and Jesse begin dealing to an unstable distributor named Tuca, who is famous for killing his own men. Hank survives an IED placed by the cartel that kills several other DEA agents and tarnishes the new promotion he received from killing Tuco. Jesse falls in love with a heroin addict named Jane. Jane begins to manipulate Jesse and turns him against Walt. As their relationship develops, so do their drug habits. Jane's father, an air traffic controller, attempts to put a stop to the relationship. He fails. Walter watches Jane die and chooses not to save her. Walt attempts to leave with a bang, selling a massive amount of meth in one deal. He arranges a meeting with mega distributor Gus Fring. Gus presents Walt an offer he can't refuse: money and safety. Walter agrees if Jesse is allowed in. Hank is attacked by cartel assassins, the cousins of the late Tuco, and hospitalized as a result. During Hank's recovery, Jesse and Walt kill associates of Gus Fring. Becoming annoyed with their antics and instability, Gus hires a replacement chemist, Gale. In order to save Walt's life, Jesse kills Gale to ensure Gus has no other meth cook. Walt attempts to get closer to Gus, but all of his attempts fail. Gus manipulates Jesse and turns him against Walt, forcing Walt to back off. At the same time, Gus assassinates the entire Mexican cartel and establishes himself as the ultimate drug lord kingpin. Walt convinces the only surviving member of the cartel, Tuco's uncle Tio, to blow himself up in order to kill Gus. Walt and Jesse destroy Gus's lab. They team up with Mike, Gus's ex-security head, to jumpstart a new operation. All of Mike's old associates who worked with Gus have been rounded up by the DEA. Walt demands a list of names for Mike so he can kill Mike's soldiers in prison. Mike refuses, so Walt kills Mike. Walt contacts the Aryan Brotherhood to kill Mike's associates in prison. Hank discovers Walt is Heisenberg and confronts him. Jesse realizes he has been manipulated by Walt for years and agrees to help Hank catch Walt. Walt, Hank, and Jesse end up in a standoff with members of the Aryan Brotherhood. Hank is killed, and Jesse is made into a permanent meth slave. Walt makes sure that his money will be given to his family upon his death, then prepares to murder the Aryan Brotherhood. Walt sacrifices himself to save Jesse and murders the entirety of the Aryan Brotherhood. Jesse escapes. Walter dies of a self-inflicted wound in the Aryan Brotherhood's meth lab. And that's it for Breaking Bad.
In my opinion, from the Breaking Bad series, comparing American values in Chapter 7 to Chapter 8, I could find some values from this series are individualism and hardworking values. Breaking Bad series shows Walter White's life. Walter White is a chemistry teacher in high school, but he found out that he has lung cancer. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough money to pay for his cancer treatment. He knows that one of his students in chemistry class named Jesse Pinkman sells and makes methamphetamine, so he wants to deal with Jesse to make the drug and asks Jesse to sell it. Before he decided to do this career, at first he thinks that this way is really bad, but he has no choice. He needs money, so Walt tries to make the best methamphetamine. He tried really hard, and from his attempt, he can make the best crystallized methamphetamine. Even though he can produce the best one, but he doesn't know how to sell it. Jesse helped him to sell it, but he sells just a little bit. After that, Skyler, she's Walt's wife, she got pregnant, so Walt had to work really hard to support his family. And Walt tried to deal with the drug dealer until he met Mr. Fink, the biggest drug dealer He worked with Mr. Fink for a while, until he is afraid of Mr. Fink will betray him, so he killed Mr. Fink. Finally, Walt became the main drug dealer. He produced and sold the drug. But at last, he died from his selfish and greedy. So the values which are shown in this series are individualism and work hard. From the individualism value, Walt tried hard to make the best methamphetamine by himself. He experiments it many times until he could make the crystal one which no one could make it clear like him. So he dedicated with his work, even though his work is illegal. Moreover, the second value that I got is work hard. He worked hard because from his treatment cost is very expensive, and Skylar got pregnant, so he has to make a lot of methamphetamine to sell. He tried to make it as much as he can, and even though he is really sick, but he still keep working.
Thanks for all sharing. So next, I'm going to give responses towards Breaking Bad. Honestly, I agree with what Aums said that Walter White holds several American values such as working hard and individualism. Also, I see another important American values in him. For example, self-help, ambitious, and take risks. The reason that I think he has American value like self-help is because firstly he made drugs with his students, but after then he started to make and sell drugs by himself. In addition, he's ambitious and brilliant because he made uncountable packs of drugs and sold all to different places without being noticed and arrested. He always can think one step ahead others and get everything planned to avoid unnecessarily chop down things from happening. As we all know that at the beginning of the story that he decided to make drugs with one of his students because he had no outlet of his life. I mean, he was a high school chemistry teacher and suffered from cancer, also had no money to pay for the treatment. At the same time, his wife got pregnant, so money becomes a big issue for his family. It kind of reflects to the proverb, when it rains, it pours, right? That's the reason to cause him to be on this path. He took risks even though he knew the ending of himself dealing with drugs. He knew it's a path without turning back. I admire him because he's a person who sacrificed himself for his family. Also, he became the toppest drug dealer at that time and made fortunes. Unfortunately, we all know the results for criminals that they die at the end of the scene. He's no exceptional. Moreover, his wife found out he's a senior criminal who made and sold drugs, and all the money they had were illegal. She can't understand her husband's decision, and after all, they got divorced. Sadly, he died at the end. It's undeniable that he made the decision to sell drugs and brought better life for his family. But people cannot hide fire forever. It will explode sooner or later, and all the fancy bubbles that you've ever dreamed about, you've ever had go burst, and everything comes back to square one. I think he chose the wrong path because instead of doing bad things to change his life, he can actually find other ways out. As the proverb goes, when there's will, there's a way. It depends on which way you choose. Is it a shortcut that leads to success but ends sadly, or a path that is hard but leads to a bright future? At this moment, I have to mention a movie that I've watched. It's called Forrest Gump. It's a love comedy and encouragement movie. I'd like to explain a little bit more information about this one. Forrest Gump, who is unfortunately to be born with a lower IQ and a muscle problem. Usually people think this kind of person can't be successful in doing anything, but instead, this unlucky man has achieved lots of incredible success. He is a football star, a war hero, and later a millionaire. He has American values as well, such as working hard, optimistic, self-help, and never give up. The reason that made him a successful man that's different from Walter White is because he chose the right path to achieve what he desires and lives happily after. That's why I think a wise decision is very important to one's life, and it can decide whether or not your life will become better or even worse. Okay, that's all for our sharing. Thanks for watching our video. If you have any questions, please leave comments below. We are more happy to answer your questions.